Welcome to Pulling Chain, the blockchain distributed ledger cryptocurrency news channel for the capital markets industry. I'm Steve Edge. Well, there was quite a bit of news from the exchange space last week. We'll start with Equibit Development Corporation based in Toronto. Their project to build a peer-to-peer OTC market drew one step closer. They announced that their supernode has been built and is now in beta testing. The supernode is the key infrastructure that will provide all the cryptographic operations such as key generation, encryption, and decryption of messages. The Equibit's web wallet will run on the node. Typically in blockchain technology, it is software that does the encryption, while Equibit's supernode is based on hardware instead. They will allow for further supernodes to be built and put into the cloud to access the market, but I'm guessing trades are confirmed bilaterally and written to the chain based on that. They plan to use mining or proof of work to confirm and update the blockchain, and will offer their digital coin as incentive. The digital coin will be used to pay transaction fees, much like Ripple, but Ripple has no mining as they have issued all their digital coins already. Each block mined, or group of OTC trades confirmed, will yield 50 Equibits, reaching a maximum of 21 million Equibits in the long future. They are planning to raise some capital through an ICO, or initial coin offering, in January. Well, now the Lykke exchange based in Switzerland announced that they have set up a brokerage exchange in Vanuatu called Lykke Vanuatu. The idea is to provide financial services to customers in Asia and Africa to trade on their exchange. Well, I had never heard that there was even a capital markets regulator in the tiny Polynesian Republic, so I went to their website to check it out for myself. I found out not only do they have a regulator, but there are 228 licensed securities dealers operating, or about the same as Hong Kong. The things that you learn every day. Anyway, this is one of many operating licenses Lykke Exchange is putting in place across the globe to build a blockchain capital markets platform. The Korea Exchange launched its Korea Startup Market, allowing equity shares of startup companies to be traded in the open market. It's kind of like Thunderbeam, where seed capital can be traded. They will use BlockLink's proprietary blockchain technology called CoinStack for document and identity authentication. At least we're starting to see some real live applications for blockchain technology. It looks like adoption of applications should probably accelerate in the coming year. Good for you, Korea. Well, a few episodes ago, we mentioned Tullid Pre-Bond Information was going to start disseminating digital currency pricing for their customers. Well, last Monday, the 14th, the CME followed suit with its own Bitcoin reference rate, or BRR, versus the US dollar, and a Bitcoin real-time index, or the BRTI. The CME is pulling pricing data from the usual Bitcoin exchange suspects. The rate will be posted at 4 p.m. London time every day of the week, including weekends and holidays. Crypto never sleeps, they say. The reference rate is based on the previous 60-minute TWAP in 12 5-minute intervals of VWAP. So if that's not too clear, I've linked the methodology below. The BRR was designed around the IOSCO principles for financial benchmarks. Now, the Bitcoin Real-Time Index publishes the price every 1 second, unlike the Bitcoin Liquid Index, which publishes every 30 seconds. The BRTI is an aggregation of order books from several Bitcoin exchanges, including from China. The price is published down to 1 US penny, while the Bitcoin Liquid Index down to 1 Satoshi. I suspect the index future is probably in the works too, though having market makers providing liquidity 365 days of the year will be tough. Now, ICONOMI announced the launch of its performance fund recently. They made its first investment in Golem during its initial coin offering. Yes, it's called Golem. Golem plans to create the first decentralized global market for computing power. The investment amounted to just 5,000 Ethereum, or less than 1% of the 820,000 ETH, as Ethereum is known, Golem raised. 1 Ethereum is about $10 US. The fund hopes to invest in 3 or 4 more coin offerings by the end of the year. ICONOMI, as you may recall, was the largest crowdfunding sale in Europe this year, raising some $10 million US. They have a cryptocurrencies index called the ICNX, that is a market capitalization weighted basket of popular digital currencies. They also plan to develop an open fund management platform where portfolio managers can manage their own fund using ICONOMI's tools and features. Last week we mentioned that R3 had developed a proof of concept for KYCK. Well, now IBM just announced with a Singapore-based startup called KYCK their own flavor of KYC. Utilizing the open source Hyperledger project, the idea is to reduce onboarding time for clients. The blockchain is cloud-based and permissioned, meaning it is a private ledger rather than a public. And when dealing with people's personal information, it has to be private and secure. The security derives, of course, from the cryptographic nature of the blockchain. Now, the last item I wanted to touch on this week is the price of Bitcoin in India. That country's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, decided, with little notice, though I'm sure he and his cronies covered themselves nicely, to eliminate 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. This saw a lot of buying into Bitcoin and drove up the price last week as Indians scrambled to protect their assets. Onshore Indian Bitcoin commanded a 13% premium over offshore or regular Bitcoin prices. It's interesting as the price of gold, an Indian favorite, moved lower last week driven by the rising US dollar. I would have thought gold would have moved higher given the panic. Perhaps it's not as bad as it seems. I wasn't able to find out how much Bitcoin volume traded, but I don't think it could have been a lot. Total Bitcoin market capitalization is just over $12 billion. I think we should see more adoption of Bitcoin in India and other markets where fiat currencies are closed. China is another example, which has the lion's share of Bitcoin supply. The ease of storage and movement of Bitcoin at no cost will see further demand for it. I have seen some news articles where they have called Bitcoin a safe haven. I don't know about that, but I think the precedent in India where people are willing to pay more for Bitcoin than the market is a good indication that it will be a safe haven in the coming future. Well, that's all for me. Enjoy the rest of your week. For Pulling Chain, I'm Steve Edge.